Kala Chandi Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Paravakacharya, Asatara Satta Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Paravakacharya, Asatara Satta Shri Srimad. His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prayam Sekaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Priyamadanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Krishna Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Go Premanandi. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. So, Mondays, which I've been giving class for a little while now, one thing I've realized is Mondays, energy is a little down usually, you know. So we're trying to think about how we can pick that energy up. It's a little tough sometimes giving Srimad Bhagavatam class. By the way, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying it's Monday, right? And so sometimes the energy is just a little bit down. But I'll tell you, one of the best benefits of giving class on Mondays is you get Sri Sri Radha Kalashanji's Sunday garland. It's always the most amazing garlands. Woo! So I'll take it. Okay, today we're reading from Canto 5, Chapter 3. We'll go through verses 8 through 11, and then we'll focus on verse 8. And because we only have 4 verses to go through, what we're going to do is we'll go right into 8 at the beginning, go through it, and then we'll go through the rest of the verses. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Go Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Go Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jan Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jayo Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Radha. Jayo Radha Kalashanji Shri Radhe Radha. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devyam sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer the respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Sri Vyasadeva, the author. Naste praya shabreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utamhasloke bhaktir bhavati naishtuki. By regular attendance on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyantamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshuramalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Okay, let's go to 538. And the topic for today is, what does the Lord have? What need does the Lord have from us, for us? So, go ahead and click to the Sanskrit. Just go right into it. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so what's going on? We have a big fire sacrifice going on in this story, right? And the Lord's come, swooping down on Garuda, and he's appeared. Pretty amazing, huh? Imagine chanting Hare Krishna in the morning during Mangala Arati, and all of a sudden, the Lord swoops down on Garuda, says, "Hey, here I am." Whoa, got to be something else, huh? Okay, So this verse is from what it looks like to me, is prose. No? Yes, no? I think it is. If you go to the normal size, it doesn't have it in verse form. I'm going to go to those who are more learned. Is this prose or is this in a verse meter? Is this a verse meter? I think it's prose, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. So what we'll do is we'll go word by word, not with the meaning, but just the Sanskrit. Atmana Ivanusavanam Anjasavatyrekena Babu Amanatnaishisha Purusarta Savrupasya Kintu Natasisha Ashashananam Itad Abhisamradhana Matram Bhavitam Arhati. Okay, let's go right to the translation. Whew, that was awkward. My fault. All of life's goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Indeed, you are unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all of these sacrificial arrangements, for they are meant for us, so that we may be benedicted by your lordship. All of these sacrifices are performed for our fruit of results, and they are not actually needed by you. Somebody mind reading the purport, please?
Being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. Fruitive activity for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulence for their interest. Yagyartat karmano nyata loko yam karma bandhanaha. If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities. We may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. The Lord has many millions of temples for his residence, and he does not need our attempt. He does not require opulent activity at all. Such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reactions of our endeavors. This is for our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, he is pleased with us and gives us his benediction. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. If we somehow or other receive blessings and benedictions from the Lord, our consciousness can be purified, and we can become eligible to return home, back to Godhead.
Wow. So in the translation, it says all of life's goals and opulences are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly, and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. It's a pretty interesting statement, huh? So what does that look like? How does that apply to the Lord? Any thoughts? Somebody say it in more understandable language for those who are maybe not so linguistically affluent.
Can you scroll down a little bit so I can see the end? Yeah, I mean, everything that we want is contained in you, so what can we offer you except our love?
It's a tough statement. little bit. It's kind of like it's so obvious, but not so obvious to me. I'm thinking, and I was wondering if anybody else has any thoughts on what this statement means. What's that? Go ahead. What did you say? Yeah, I was thinking that what came to my mind, similar to what you were thinking, Prema, is that one thing that came up to mind is it said that Radharani in the spiritual world never offers Krishna the same dish twice. Can you imagine this? Like, it's unimaginable, to be honest, right? We are limited spices, cookable stuff. It's like, how could Radharani offer Krishna a different dish every day? But this is the amazingness of Krishna, is that he has everything. He has Radharani cooking him the most wonderful dishes every day. So what is needed from us? Interesting thought, huh? So these sages they're engaged in this sacrifice for the benediction of the Lords, or for their benediction, but to the lordships. And they say in the translate, as far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. So they're doing this sacrifice for the Lord, but they're saying that they are doing this for material enjoyment. How do we understand this? It's not how I do class. I appreciate your suggestion, though. Any comments? Any thoughts? We talked about it at the very beginning of class of like why they're doing this fire sacrifice. Anybody remember why they're doing this fire sacrifice? He's wanting a son, right? He wants a son. So this is an intelligent person, and they know if they want something, they go to the Lord and do some sacrifice, right? So the sages here are doing this sacrifice for the Lord, but for their own material enjoyment. And we can often see that in our life, that we are doing some sacrifice by chanting the holy names or coming to the temple, and really we're wanting something in return from the Lord. So this is called material life. Spiritual life is when we do something, it's just for the pleasure of the Lord. We simply want him just to smile, hopefully. But our goal is just for his pleasure. But in material life, we want to enjoy, or we want the fruits of the sacrifice. Okay, let's turn to verse 9, please. Somebody go ahead and read this verse, please. We have 2 mics.
O Lord of Lords, we are completely ignorant of the execution of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, the process of liberation, because we do not actually know the goal of life. You have appeared personally before us like a person soliciting worship, but actually you are present here just so we can see you. You have come out of your abundant and causeless mercy in order to serve our purpose, our interest, and give us the benefit of your personal glory called apavarga, liberation. You have come, although you are not properly worshipped by us due to ignorance.
They say because we do not actually know the goal of life, these sages, they're saying, we are ignorant. We don't know the goal of life. So what's the issues that come from not knowing the ultimate goal of life? Waste our time, senselessly useless labor. What other troubles come from not knowing the goal of life? Dustin, do you have a thought on what troubles come from not knowing the goal of life?
Can bring us a lot of can disrupt us in our mind. No peace.
Right? Our mind becomes so disturbed, right? It's running this way, running that way, hither and thither. Just going, hey, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. So the disturbance in our lives come, Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, right? From many branch desires. But a person who's in peace is equal posed because they have one direction, one focus. They understand that the goal of life is Krishna. And so the mind starts to go outward, and they can bring it right back. Wait a minute. The goal of life, their perspective is this best for Krishna? Is this something that would please Krishna? Or is it something that wouldn't please Krishna? And so therefore their life is spiritualized because they're always thinking of this one pointed direction. So they mention in the verse also, you have appeared personally before us like a person soliciting worship, but actually you are present here just so we can see you. I was wondering, something popped in my head, and I was wondering if maybe you guys could also maybe in your mind, don't mean to play guessing games, but how do we experience this? How do we experience the Lord coming before us so that we can see him? Yes, Tulsi, you did it. Yeah. I saw your eyes go right to the DDs, right? Our material senses can't perceive right now the spiritual opulences of the Lord. He says, no problem. I got you. You're conditioned. You're in this horrible situation where you have these materials. I got you taken care of. So he comes as the deity. So the deity is made from different elements that we can perceive, right? Like wood or stone or marble, right? He says, I'll come in this form and you can do some service. So we can do some sacrifice. And so the question I guess I would ask for us to really consider is, when we come before the deity and we do this sacrifice of coming to see the deity, putting our eyes on him, are we coming asking Krishna for our own desires? Are we saying, hey Krishna, I've come here and all I just want to do is see you and see your beauty. And I hope that you will see me. I hope in return that you'll look and see me. But really, that's just a nice attitude to have, that Krishna is complete in himself, and so why would he look at me? But Krishna loves us so much that he looks at us. He looks and sees us. And actually, that's really actually why we come to the temple. We really come so that Krishna can see us, because that's where the purification is at. We don't know what prayers to give. We don't know the attitude to have. Luckily, through our acharyas, we start to understand that, right, as our purification comes. But really, we're just so lost. So lost. We're like the sages who are, talking here that all I ask is for material opulences. I don't know the goal of life. But because of the association of devotees, we are very fortunate, and so we know that this is something we should do, and we try it, we have a little bit of faith, and then Krishna sees us. And through his seeing us, we start to become purified. Pretty fortunate for us, huh? Okay, let's go to verse 10, please. Let me read verse 10, please.
O most worshipable of all, you are the best of all benefactors, and your appearance at saintly King Nabi's sacrificial arena is meant for our benediction. Because you have been seen by us, you have bestowed upon us the most valuable benediction.
So that's what the sages are saying, right? Because you've been seen by us, but really the Lord has seen them. And so this is the real boon. This is the the real benediction we get by coming to Krishna, by chanting his names. As Krishna's really coming in contact with us. Okay, verse 11, please.
Dear Lord, all the great sages who are thoughtful and saintly persons incessantly recount your spiritual qualities. These sages have already burned up all the unlimited dirty things, and by the fire of knowledge strengthened their detachment from the material world. Thus they have attained your qualities and are self-satisfied. Yet even for those who feel spiritual bliss in chanting your attributes, your personal presence is very rare.
It mentions that they have all your qualities, Lord. How do we get the qualities of the Lord? Well, when you make somebody your everything, not even if you make them their everything, but you're constantly thinking of somebody, you start to take on their attributes, right? Have you ever noticed this in your life? You start hanging out with somebody new and all of a sudden you start talking like them. It's like not your pace of talk or your words that you use, but all of a sudden you start using, because they come into your mind. They come into your focus, right? Can you imagine that if we're thinking of the Lord all the time and we're hearing about his amazing qualities, then all of a sudden we start to maybe not talk like Krishna, but talk like Krishna. We start to talk in those same qualities. We start to have those same qualities. So the sages that these sages are talking about have got to that point where they're completely focused on the Lord. They've completely taken shelter of his lotus feet, and therefore they know nothing but the qualities of the Lord, his name. I also say such people are satisfied by chanting the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and the Lord's personal presence is not actually required. So, this is the actual realization that the chanting is non-different than the Lord, right? So the sages are always chanting the transcendental qualities of the Lord or his holy name, have no need for the personal presence of the Lord. And that's because they're so satisfied with speaking about Krishna because he is actually there. So we're trying to get to this platform that our chanting, our talking, our discussing of Krishna is so potent that he's there. There's no need for him to swoop up on Garuda and be present before our chanting. However, in your heart, maybe when you're chanting, you see some kind of thing like this, Nice meditation, right? Chanting Hare Krishna. There's Krishna. Right there on Garuda, smiling upon me. So we're trying to come to this platform of understanding that there is nothing more than Krishna. He's there. He's there for us. He's with us. And in these verses today, we really should understand that our sacrifices that we do, being for the pleasure of the Lord, they aren't needed by the Lord. Krishna has everything. He doesn't need us for anything. We were talking about the other day about the Drista's class, he was mentioning that the demigods are so beautiful and so opulent and so smart and intelligent and stuff. They look upon us and they see us as a simple insect, cockroach, And the demigods' opulences are nothing compared to Krishna's. Indra, who's the king of heaven, right? Wow, that must be an amazing position. However, there's millions of trillions of Indras in different universes. And the Lord is in control and ownership of all of those universes. So it reminds me of a story of Sudama Brahman, right? Sudama Brahman was a friend of Krishna. When they were childhood, they went to the same school together. And Sudama was, he was not so well taken care of materially. He was very poor. And his wife was asking him, you know, you should go see your friend Krishna and ask him for help. He's your friend. He's in he's in his palace with his 16,108 wives. You know, he probably could help you. What I like about this story is one of the things, the small things, is why is the wife asking him to go? What's the purpose of her asking him to go to Krishna for help? She can't stand to see her husband so skinny and in this condition. It's so sweet, actually. Really so sweet. She's like, you know, because usually you would think, wow, don't have, you know, my cloths are torn up, you know, I'm not eating well, so therefore you should go ask for me. But his wife was so pure and so amazing. She was like, I can't stand to see you suffering anymore. Please go talk to your friend Krishna. He's like, no, Sudama's like, I don't need to ask anything from Krishna. You know, I don't want to bother my friend. That's not okay. And finally he says, okay, fine, I'll go. And his reasoning is, does anybody remember his reasoning? Yeah, he says, you know what? I'm not really so interested in getting something from Krishna, but you know what? If I go, I will see Krishna. I'll see my friend. And so they decide, well, if we're going to go, we need to bring something, right? But they have nothing. So they go to their fellow villagers and they say, hey, can you help me with something? You know, can you loan me something so that I can give to a friend? And they get just some chipped rice. Do you know what chipped rice is? Chipped rice is like, after all of the rice is gone, like the bottom of the bag of the rice, you know, it's like the dust. I mean, it's not the dust, but you know what I mean. It's just like the leftovers of the rice bag, and they put it into a cloth and they wrap it up, and Sudama goes on his way, right? So on the way, Sudama's getting very excited. He's going to see his friend Krishna. And he gets there, and Krishna is so elated to see his friend that he runs and gives him a big hug. Oh, Sudama, you've come to see me. So happy. And so what does he do? He sits him down and bathes his feet. Krishna is bathing Sudama's feet. And remember, Sudama's very, very poor. Probably dusty feet. He just walked all the time. His cloths are dirty. You know, his hair is probably dirty also. You know, he doesn't have nice shampoo. And Krishna just washes his feet, gives him a nice fresh bath, and gives him clothes and says, Sudama, you know, I'm so glad to see you. What have you come for? You know, what have you come for? And Sudama doesn't want to tell Krishna. He's like, my purpose here was to come and ask you for help. So Krishna says, wait a minute, Sudama, you've come and see me, and when you come and see people, you bring a gift. So you must have brought me a gift, Sudama. And so no, Lord, actually, he's kind of embarrassed that all he has is this simple chipped rice. He says, no, actually, I'm so sorry, Krishna. I have nothing. I haven't, I didn't bring it. And Krishna says, no, I think you have brought something, Sudama. No, Krishna, I'm sorry. I don't have anything to give. I apologize. Krishna says, no, Sudama, you have something. You must have brought something, I know. What is behind your back? You can just imagine Sudama getting kind of nervous, So Krishna turns Sudama and grabs the bag and starts to eat the chipped rice without even cooking it. Just right from the bag, starts eating it. And Krishna is in ecstasy. And Rukmini says, give me some, Krishna. I have to have some of this also. So Krishna shares it with Rukmini. She also becomes elated, So Sudama, he has to go home, has to go back to his family. And you know what he did? Or do you know what he didn't do? He forgot to ask Krishna. He was so happy seeing Krishna and having that, he even forgot to ask. So he's on his way home and he gets to the house and where's my home? Where's my house? Where's my wife? Because where his house was is a big mansion, a palace, with beautiful gardens, the most beautiful house, animals, birds chirping. He's so confused. And there comes his wife. And his wife is beautifully dressed with the nicest of clothes and the nicest of jewelry. She hugs Sudama and says, thank you, you've come back. And so in this story, it really is a favorite of the devotees. Because when we start to understand how amazing Krishna is, we start to have a little bit of understanding of what can I do? What can I give Krishna? Even the best thing I can think of is really nothing. But we have Sudama Brahman, that his love for Krishna was so great and his offering was so little that Krishna accepted the offering, the love that Sudama has. So, in your life, you don't have to worry. You don't have any concerns about what kind of offering you have. Just really behind that offering, we're trying to gather some love for Krishna. We're trying to gather some appreciation for him, some gratitude, and we're trying to give in that manner. And Krishna, he has everything except one thing he doesn't have. And he can have it or he can't have it, but it's your choice, and that's your love. You don't have to give it to Krishna. It's your freedom. Krishna, I don't want to give it to you. However, you're missing out on a lot. A lot. So this is Krishna. He needs nothing. He has everything. There's nothing we can give him that's impressive except for our love. It's like a child who's 3 years old and they get a piece of paper from their mom and dad, and they get crayons from their parents. Their parents have purchased the items. The kid doesn't have any money, right? They're 3 years old. They use this stuff and they paint a picture of the family. Color crayons. And the child gives it to mom and dad. Mom, Dad, here's a picture I drew of you. The family. And what do mom and dad do? They start critiquing it. You know what? The dog that you've drawn, it doesn't really look like a dog, honey. Mom doesn't really look like that. No, of course not, right? Mom and dad take that picture and they put a frame around it and they put it in the hall so that when people walk in the door, the first thing they see is the drawing that their child has drawn of the family. They love it so much, right? So Krishna doesn't look at our 3-year-old drawings, our crayons, our pictures, and nothing like that. All he sees is this wonderful offering that what we gave to him, we used to make something for him. And he loves it so much. Okay. You go. Stop right there. We did start class a little bit late, so anyways. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Ajit Prabhu.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhu. I was thinking of the alternative. There's a story of Duryodhana who offered a big, opulent feast to Krishna. Very sumptuous, people say. And Krishna didn't accept it because it wasn't with love. So just wanted to give the counter of that also.
So my question is, as devotees, sometimes we're in this position, right? Where we're offering stuff to Krishna and it's not for him. What do we do? What do we do when we kind of have some understanding that our gifts that we're giving Krishna aren't really with love? They're more from, I want something. What do you guys think?
Well, at least we want to love him. So at least there's that.
That's
desire to only desire him.
That's a nice point, right?
Duryodhana wasn't there at all.
Yeah, we at least have enough knowledge. We know we want to love Krishna, right? We've heard it from other devotees and stuff like, yeah, I want to get to know Krishna. So I know my offerings aren't with love, but I'm going to keep doing it. Oh, and then, simply by offering it to Krishna, even though it might be lacking the love that we want, Krishna still sees the offering, right? Right? We were mentioning we come in front of the deity and he sees us. So when Krishna sees that we're trying, that's purification in itself. Just him seeing us in our effort. We say, Krishna, he's there. Krishna, please accept that. He comes. Well, thank you. Matter of fact, if he wants more better offerings from us or more love, he'll entice us. He'll entice us to. He'll open up the curtain of his attractiveness a little bit more. You go, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Let me make more.
I had another thought too earlier about the Lord coming to us personally. It's like a popular thing. People will say like, if there's a God, why can't I see him, or why doesn't he come to me or something? But we understand from these verses that it's actually like a great blessing, benediction to see the Lord like face to face. It says even here, even those who feel spiritual bliss in chanting your attributes, your personal presence is very rare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kind of on a similar note, you also were mentioning how maybe it was mentioned in a verse, or maybe you mentioned it, about how devotees, I think it was a verse, it was saying devotees don't even necessarily, or maybe the purport, anyways, devotees don't even necessarily need to be in Krishna's personal presence, because just chanting his glories is so powerful, like that's enough. And I really love that point. I had that experience one time. I chased that experience for the rest of my life. And when I was chanting japa, I was chanting and I was praying, open the curtain, like, how they say, like, there's a veil. I was praying like that. And then I was chanting and I was waiting, waiting eagerly with love, like, I want to see you, Krishna, like, I want you to, let me in, just, and then finally I got so into the chanting that I just sat down. I was pacing in the temple room. I just sat down and I was like, actually, I'll wait forever. This is the best way to wait. I'm with you right now. Like, your name is not different from you. What curtain? Like, anyways, it was a very powerful, like, realization and experience.
I was thinking, Go ahead, Mom.
Hare Krishna, that was a good class, thank you. And I want to thank you for your two stories, the one about the chip rice and then the one about the drawing from 3-year-olds, because I think a lot in terms of what can I do for Krishna, what can I do to serve the devotees, and you know, I don't have a lot of money and I'm not initiated, so there are a lot of things I can't do, and so sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, just cutting vegetables. But your stories made me feel like it's not just cutting vegetables. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. I remember hearing from Hanumat Bashak Swami, and he was saying that when we first get into ISKCON, that's one of the biggest anxiety is figuring out what our position is in ISKCON. You know, we want to know our service. It's part of the journey too, you know. Because we need the devotees in Krishna to really direct us, because when we first get in, we think like this, we think like that, we think, you know, we're not gamblers, but I would bet that if you asked most people who didn't grow up in ISKCON that come to ISKCON, if when they first came, they said, here's what I should do, not so many of them would be doing the thing that they thought. You know, because it takes some purification and some direction from the Lord, and He'll show us. So yes, it can become that anxiety. A lot of us still feel it. I feel it. What is my service? Or more it comes. The more it comes is clarity on your service. Like, right? Like, you know, how do I do my service? Okay, I have this thing that I do for service, but you know, how do I really grow in it? I was thinking, I might go reverse a little bit about the Ajit and Prema. I was thinking when we were talking about this non-personal time with Krishna, I was thinking that's how powerful the Acharya is. Imagine how powerful Srila Prabhupada is, how amazing Srila Prabhupada is that just his conviction, his love for Krishna is so strong that there's little millions of people trying to get to know Krishna. So my point is that that how much they understand that Krishna is there in the name, there in his pastimes, that their confidence, their conviction of that is so powerful that we just hear it and we go, okay, let me try. You've convinced me, you know, because we can't see Krishna at this point. And, you know, if we go to the line of acharyas, the sages, I mean, from what I'm understanding is it's saying that not even many of them have the personal experience of seeing Krishna personally here. You know, we could get into some things. But their conviction that Krishna is non-different than his words, his stories, his pastimes, his name, his qualities is so strong that they can literally move people to, okay, I'm going to try it. That's amazing, you know? Like, anyways. Any last comments, questions, thoughts?
I just wanted to respond to what Mother Tammy said about service. You know, from the world that we come in, we tend to think of service in more of a gross fashion of like, you know, doing things or giving things. But our main two services in bhakti is actually hearing and chanting. So a devotee that comes to the temple every morning and hears Srimad Bhagavatam and is chanting Hare Krishna and is doing kirtan is very pleasing. Is very pleasing to the Lord, actually. Just to sit there and listen and hear about the Lord is actually is really pleasing. Just wanted to say that. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, even to just look at the Lord. Krishna is so pleased by that. That's his service in the spiritual world, is that some of those living entities in the spiritual world, all they do is just look at Krishna.
Mm.
The owls or the deers or that's what we do in the spiritual world. So, it's kind of a big deal just to even take darshan in the morning.
I, as director of Krishna House, I get to be in presence of these residents, and I got to tell you that quite often I just go, wow, how amazing they are. That each day they've committed to this process, and the advancement is just so quick. Like, you guys are just, wow. And it's because of daily chanting and daily coming to Srimad Bhagavatam, daily service, and just like, really so impressive, And it helps me to get even more conviction to be like, hey, people should join the ashram. Look at these guys. It's so amazing. So, yeah, and we don't necessarily have to be in Krishna House or ashram, but the point is the daily, coming to Srimad Bhagavatam, getting up in the morning, coming to Guru Puja, coming to Mangala Arti, and these things are so powerful that they blast, the things that are impeding us from pure devotional service. Thank you, Ajay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha. Kripa Sindhubhyevacha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo. Namo Namah. Antikoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.